we are excited to join with us tonight senior guard Kham Davis on Weber State Weekly. Kham, thank you so much for chatting with us and our panel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And we're so excited to talk to you tonight about your journey to Weber State, what drew you here to Ogden, and then also a little bit about training. This year's obviously been really weird. The schedule's shifted. We finally have a good schedule now that the Big Sky has approved. And then just talking about, building that chemistry as a team with a lot of new faces on the bench. But I wanted to start out by asking you about you, originally from Denver, Colorado. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I'm from Colorado, the Denver area. I've moved around a lot growing up. So I lived in North Carolina a couple of years, but I'm mostly from Denver.
Yeah. What prompted that move? Was it, like parents in the military? Just what brought the moves?
Well, my mom lived in Denver. My dad lives in North Carolina. So if I went to stay with my dad, I'll go stay in North Carolina.
Got it. Okay. And so kind of bounced around between Denver and North Carolina, both great places to play basketball, and then ended up committing as a freshman to go play at the University of Pittsburgh. So how was your experience there? Played 2 years as a Pitt Panther.
It was good. It taught me a lot. It taught me a whole lot about, my development and kind of playing hard and playing at the highest level. And it helped me kind of get an appreciation for, just the grind, the daily grind, and understanding how important that is.
Yeah. And like you said, playing at the highest levels, playing in the ACC against some really top talent. Do want to point out you appeared in 58 games as a Pitt Panther. Pretty good season. Your best game was against VMI as a sophomore, so pretty awesome. But obviously, you came to Weber State.
Can I ask an ACC question before we get to Weber?
For sure.
He always rolls his eyes when I interrupt him like this. Best environment in the ACC. Who's got the most just awful fan base? I don't want to say awful, but the ones that get under your skin. Is it the Cameron Crazies? Is it the Terps? Is it which place do you guys just not want to go play?
I wouldn't say we wouldn't want to go play there. Because honestly, like playing any game was kind of fun. It had its own excitement to it. But I think the wildest crowd for sure might have been North Carolina my freshman year. North Carolina was wild that year. I couldn't even hear the play calls. I couldn't hear nothing. That was interesting.
Okay. Moving on. Sorry, Colby.
North Carolina's, they got a pretty big arena, and it kind of North Carolina's arena in the ACC is kind of like Weber State's arena in the Big Sky. Like we got a really big arena for our conference. So that makes me wonder though. We didn't have the chance to talk to you last year because we weren't doing the show, but what would bring you from Pitt to Weber State? What drew you here to Ogden?
Just the environment and the coaching. I felt like one of the things I really wanted was, an opportunity, and two, a relationship with the team, with the coaches, man. And I feel like when I came here, I really felt that. I really felt like I was going to be able to be in an environment where I could be taught, I can be coached hard, and I can be loved at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important to me. Was the family feel. I wanted to be in a family.
Definitely important.
Go ahead, Kobe.
Well, I was going to say definitely important, and I know that's what draws a lot of guys here is they feel like they're being invested in. Had a great season last year, and so Cam, I wanted to ask, as the season progressed last year, how do you feel that that coaching helped you progress as a player? Because it was your junior year, I think you had an outsized role. You played a big role on the team. We fell a little bit short in the conference tournament, but I mean, I was super impressed. I went to the Montana game. I went to the SUU game. I think you had both a great game in both of those games. And so I wanted to maybe ask you how you felt you progressed last season with that coaching.
To the coaching. So obviously Coach Ray is an amazing guy, amazing dude, man. Like, I don't know if people can really understand or really grasp, how good of a guy he is. You know what I'm saying? When you get a head coach, usually, they are publicly one way and then to you guys in practice a different way. You know what I'm saying? But Coach Ray is consistent, man. He's very consistent. And I think one of the biggest things he kind of taught me was just, kind of just believe in myself. I feel like I dealt with injury, I dealt with certain things in my whole career, and he believed in me. You know what I'm saying? He just believed in me. He encouraged us to be the best we can be. He encouraged us to take the shot. He encouraged us to play as hard as we could. You know what I'm saying? And he encouraged us to be tough. And the toughness, like, I think that's what I gained more as the season going on, was just being tough, just pushing through. And I think I needed that for sure.
Hey Cam, I want to ask you a little bit more about last year because you had a pretty interesting season, right? You transferred, you came over right before the season started, and then you got injured. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was a dislocated knee, right?
Right.
So I guess my question is kind of twofold. One, how difficult was that to come back from that, all the rehab and everything involved? And two, how much did that impact you for the rest of the season after you did come back from it?
So the rehab was obviously pretty difficult. You had to strengthen up the muscles around your knee. And a lot of those are twitch muscles, a lot of them are small muscles. So it's kind of muscle you only work on. So it's kind of difficult in general. And, obviously it changes some things. Like, I feel like before the injury, I had a very athletic play style, saying I'd try to play above the rim. I'd try to play certain ways. And, when you're missing half the strength in your knee, it's hard to do that. But it didn't stop me from, playing hard defense or playing hard in other ways I possibly could. I just wasn't as athletic or explosive off that leg. You know what I'm saying? So it played a role, obviously, but gotta keep on pushing.
And so, Cam, as the season ended in March, and we've kind of been out of it because of COVID, have you been able to kind of continue to work on rehabbing that knee and getting the strength back in those smaller muscles? And you feel good going into this season?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I feel like my leg is good. It's probably stronger than it was before now. It's like if I can dunk off that leg now. So it's good. So I feel like that time, in itself, for me at least, it was a blessing. That having Corona hit and having almost be forced to not be able to do as much, give me time to kind of recoup.
Definitely. And so Cam, okay, Chappie, go ahead.
So Cam, I was going to ask, you guys, schedule came out a little different this year in the sense that, usually you guys have travel partners and there's, you're playing, you're partnered with another school. This year, obviously, you're playing back-to-back games on a Thursday, Saturday.
Right.
What's that going to be like? That it seems like playing a double. You're playing a double header in a sense. Are you guys looking forward to that? Is that going to be different? A little different for you?
No, it's definitely going to be different. But the way I see it is like this. At the end of the day, you have opportunity to show either that their first game was a fluke if you lost, or that you can beat somebody twice in a row. Saying that you really are a better team in general. And the better teams are the ones who are the most together, the most, that play the hardest, that are the toughest. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's an opportunity to show how tough we are as a team, as an organization. And I think that's the blessing because, some games might not go in your hands, but if you are consistently winning both nights, then it shows who you are.
So, Cam, you talked about your team a little bit, and you show the conference how tough you are. Weber State's got a lot of new people this year. A lot of, what do we say, 9 new players on this year's team. A lot of people transferred in just like you did. As fans, we really don't know what the identity of this team is going to be. And so a couple questions. What are you doing to build chemistry without the normal non-conference schedule? And what do you think the identity of the team is going to be? Is it going to be the same type of team that we were used to seeing Randy Ray put together, or is there something special? I know our guy, John King, he's really looking forward to the interior defense this year. So,
oh yeah, I think one thing I can say, right? And like I've seen a couple of the teams that Coach Ray's put together, and one thing I can say about this team this year is that we have some dogs. We have some guys who really want to win, who are really competitive and really take that seriously. You know what I'm saying? And like obviously every year you're gonna have players that want to win, but man, throughout the whole roster is competition. It's people competing every night, every day. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things we're doing to build, we kind of live together. We live. All of us kind of live next to each other. So we have a lot of time to spend with each other. Honestly, I feel like every day is a bond opportunity because these guys are like my friends. Like, let's be real. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, we don't have to set up a trip to the bowling alley, because we're already together. We're already hanging out every day. We're already, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's been another thing that's been really good this year is that we just have grown as friends first before teammates. And it kind of boosts the competitiveness in practice because you went out, you want to do better than your friend. You want to make them better. They want to make you better. So it's great.
So I don't want to give our opponents any bulletin board material, but who's going to be the alpha dog guy? Who's the guy that I want to see as a fan taking the last shot when we're down by 1 with 15 seconds left
in Missoula.
Listen, when I tell you we have options, I'm telling you this year is deep. It's deep, man.
Yeah.
It might be game to game. It might be a game to game thing. Whoever's hot, like that's how we're starting to have respect for these guys.
I like that. I like that we have options. I like that it's not just one alpha male right there. But I'm going to just be real for a second. I think that one of the struggles that the team last year had was too much deference in those closing situations, that nobody was that leader, that cold-blooded killer. If I don't want to use that phrase, but that guy that you just knew was the assassin that was going to knock down the 3-pointer to shut it down.
Right. I mean, and a lot of that stuff kind of, I feel like, will form as the year goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to say how people are going to react in certain situations without being in the situation.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I will tell you, I really like Isaiah. I don't know if you know IB. He's an amazing leader. I feel like in practice, at least so far, he's been able to hit a lot of situation ending shots. So we'll put it that way. He's a very, very good guy.
So we like to ask our guys on here a little bit more fluffy stuff. Everybody's a video gamer. Are you in? Who's the best 2K player on the team besides you?
Oh, so I don't play. I play a lot of games, but I don't play 2K. I don't play 2K, but I know some people play a lot of 2K. I think KJ, oh boy, Corbin Cunningham plays a lot of 2K, and I've heard him win a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Zaire plays a lot of 2K. And
what's your game of choice if you're not a 2K guy?
I like shooter games, so like a Call of Duty or like an Overwatch.
Nice.
Yeah, I PC games, so it's one of my hobbies.
Oh, nice.
Cam, another fluffy question for you, but so what's the other side of the Rockies like compared to this side? What's the main difference in life in Denver, Colorado versus life in Ogden, Utah?
Honestly, it's similar in a lot of ways. Like, it's honestly similar. The same, I feel like a lot of people in Utah like to do like outdoor stuff, and it's the same in Colorado. The people are really nice and genuine. I feel like it's the same on both sides. It's really just the other side of the mountain. Like, that's how I feel about it. Is
the mountain's literally on the other side. That's like the saying here is you can always tell which way is east by looking at the mountain, and says the exact opposite in Colorado.
Yeah, I was raised, if you want to know where west is, look towards the mountains. So it's funny.
Cam, I wanted to, you mentioned this before about the team living together, and because of COVID-19, you guys have been able to spend a lot more time together, which has been great. And so I wanted to ask about training. How has that been? You guys weren't able to, I don't think you guys were able to practice until like August or something like that, right? Like, what has training and coming together and getting in shape been like during the time of COVID?
So like one of the things that has also helped our team bonding, honestly, is that we had to be kind of secluded from a lot of people because we don't want to, get COVID. That's one of the things, kind of driving us, is not, putting our season at jeopardy. Let's be real. So in saying that, like, I feel like our workouts, like when we started our workouts, especially when we started our workouts, it really became our team. It became like we was in our own little bubble, right? And it's been good because then the workouts are better. We're encouraging each other to be the best us, because all we have right now is basketball. Let's be real. It's school, our education in basketball. So we put all of our effort and energy into those workouts. Those workouts would actually meant so much more to us, because it was a blessing to even be able to have a season. You know what I'm saying? So the workouts have been so competitive. They've been competitive, and every situation is competition. If we're doing a shooting drill, I'm gonna beat you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look across, and that's what it is. Like, and I think that's been a blessing too. Is just having that seclusion and having that passion that's kind of driving us right now.
Looking ahead at the schedule, Cam, you've been a Wildcat for a season now. What 2-game stretch are you looking forward to? Which games are you up for this season that you just can't wait to get out and play?
Well, I'll say for me, it's 2 games, right? For one, I want whoever they say is the best. Whoever they say is the best, I want that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I feel like in my life, and I feel like as a team, we thrive to be the best. That's what we want. So if it's not us already, then point us at who is the best, and let's go prove ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first game. And obviously, I have, Northern Colorado is a game for me too, because that's where I'm from. I'm from Colorado.
Okay.
I have my family comes through that game, and it's a really big deal for me to play in front of my family. So that's the other game I'll say I look forward to.
Nice.
Well, and they've been good, right? They've been very good the last few years, and so I can see why. It's sort of a cross section of the two things right there. You want to play the best, and they've been good. Plus, they have. I
tell you what, that Greeley road trip is not easy for any team.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's in my blood. I got it.
Cam, we've asked quite a few of the players that we've interviewed this kind of same question, and we wanted to pose it to you. A lot of guys, when they come in, they model their game off of somebody. They take their inspiration from somebody, and we wanted to pose the same question to you. Kind of, when you go out and play, is there a particular player that you look up to, or somebody that you have taken certain moves, or somebody that you've modeled parts of your game on? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So this is actually something I really believe in, and I came to a conclusion actually in the past 2 years, right? Is that I wanted my game to be all me. You know what I'm saying? I wanted my game to be original. Yeah. If I do a move, if I do something, I want it to be because that's what I thought was the best, or that's what I thought was going to work, and it worked for me, right? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I just watched one person and was like, I want to, dribble like Kyrie, or I want to shoot from half court like Dame. I just thought, how can I be the best Cam today? You know what I'm saying? It's defense. Like, I want to be really good defense. I want to be aggressive on defense. I want to, handle. I want to be very tight handle, very simple, but very effective. You know what I'm saying? Or like jump shot. I want to quick release. Like I thought about the things that I want for myself so that I can be original. And that's kind of how I've approached my game.
And last year, I think we saw a lot of that defense. We saw a lot of high energy from you. Is there something specific you've worked on this offseason to improve your game?
Yes, I wanted to have a more consistent jump shot. I feel like some games I had good shooting games, some games I didn't. And one of the things for me, especially while I'm coming back, was just making sure I had options when it came to shooting and just having good ball control in general. So those are things I'm still working on, and we'll continue to work on into the first game and past the first game. It's just being consistent.
That's excellent. Cam, I wanted to wrap up the interview here by asking you really briefly. We've talked to some of the other student athletes about this and kind of wanted to get your take. What is your favorite thing about Weber State or Ogden, or your favorite place to hang out in the city? Like, what is it for you? What do you like about Ogden or Weber State?
Okay. Let me think about this. There's a couple of things that I've done here so far that popped in my mind immediately. One, school's not in session right now, but I kind of like the campus feel of Weber State because it's kind of like an outdoorsy. It's very beautiful here, and like I used to love that about Weber State, is just walking around and having like just the nature. I'm a nature guy, and saying that I can mention two other things that popped in my head. One, I went on a hike. I think it's right behind Weber, and there's a waterfall at the end of the hike. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what the hike's called, but that was an amazing experience.
Waterfall
Literally called Waterfall Canyon.
Yeah. So that's the hike I went on, and like I loved it. I loved it because at first you're like, okay, I'm just traveling up this weird like mountain type thing, and you're like, okay, well, like what's the point? Like, what are we trying to see? And when you get there, it's such a rewarding feeling because it's like you kind of earned the experience to see the beauty of God's creation. So I really liked that experience. That was really nice. And then Jake's. Okay, so Jake's is something that's really close to Weber, right? Uh-huh. And Jake's ice cream hits different. It is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I love
That's
ice cream.
Fantastic.
I love ice cream. I feel like, oh my fault, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I feel like ice cream kind of raises my spirit sometimes. If I'm feeling low, I'll get some ice cream. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things, like a cheat thing that I do for myself that makes me feel better. And Jake's just hits. It hits right.
It's an Ogden institution, man.
For sure.
That it is. Well, Cam, we appreciate you coming on Weber State Weekly. We noticed just you have a quick bio. If folks haven't downloaded the Weber State Wildcats app, there's an opportunity in there to look at the roster, and you can learn more about Cam, about his past seasons, and kind of where he comes from. But in there, it also lists your majoring in pro sales, right?
Right.
How's that going?
It's good. It's really good. I think right now I have a 3.5. I have 2 A's and 2 B's.
Nice. So getting to know Tim Border and some of those folks over there.
I love Tim.
Tim is the man. Yeah, he's great.
If Tim's listening to this, just tell him I miss him. I just want him to know that.
Oh man, for sure, for sure. Well, Cam, thank you so much for coming on Weber State Weekly, chatting with us a little bit about you, a little bit about what Wildcat fans can expect.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for having me again. I really appreciate y'all.
Weber State Weekly is a Deep State Media production. Producer is Kobe Peterson. Director and editor is Daniel Martinez.